In the podcast jungle with a mic to machete, Aldreama Harper, she ready and steady. Organized planner with a plan, never petty. Dropping gems, got my thoughts feeling heavy. Podcast launch pad where the dreams take flight. Entrepreneurial spirit out of sight, out of mind. Every episode, knowledge taking flight. Getting organized, keep it hustle tight. All dreamers got the wisdom, breaking it down.
Welcome. My name is Aldreama Harper, and I'm a podcast launch strategist and host of the Organized Entrepreneur Podcast Launchpad. So, if you're a coach or a consultant or a service-based entrepreneur and you're looking to expand your reach, connect with your audience on a deeper level, ultimately growing your business, then you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to be diving into how to start a podcast specifically if you are in that space, whether you're a coach, a consultant, or service-based business. So let's get started. So perhaps you've heard that podcasting can be a game changer. Guess what? You're absolutely right. Podcasting allows you to share your expertise, build trust, and attract your ideal clients. But do you even know where to begin? I can tell you that is probably the most frequent question that I get. So we're going to break that down in this conversation today. So I hope you're ready. Go ahead and take notes or stop the video or pause it or whatever, but make sure that you are ready to take notes. So before you jump into equipment and editing software, all of those things, you got to have a foundation. And so in order to do that, you got to ask yourself a couple of questions, okay? Number one, why do I want to start a podcast? And I got to tell you, I wasn't clear on that question when I first started my podcast back in 2013, which, by the way, only has 14 episodes still out there. I didn't ask myself that question of why. And so you want to answer that and ask yourself, why do you want to start a podcast? Is it to generate leads? Is it to build authority? Is it to create community? Because getting clear on your why in podcasting, just like it is in business, is going to guide the entire process. So that's the first question. The second question that maybe I was clear, not as clear, but I was somewhat clear on my niche and listener, but I wasn't specific enough. But that is the next question you have to ask yourself. What is or who is my ideal listener? And you got to be specific. You got to be specific about things like what are their challenges, what are their goals, what are their interests? Because the more specific you are, the more you know your audience, the better you can tailor your content around that audience. For example, so if you're a career coach for women in tech, your ideal listener might be a woman in her late 20s or her early 30s. Maybe she is feeling stuck in her career or her current goal, and she's looking for guidance on how to advance in her career. So you want to keep this person in mind as you move forward in launching your podcast. So that was step one. Step two, choose your podcast niche and format. Because now that you know who you're talking to, right, you want to make sure that you define what you'll be talking about. So you got to know who's your niche, or you can say niche, right? But you got to narrow it down because instead of coaching, maybe it's leadership coaching for introverts. Like, I'm an introvert. And so maybe that's who it's for. Or mindset coaching for entrepreneurs. And so that's going to help to guide your content. Another question you want to ask yourself is what's your podcast format? That's also going to help guide your podcast. Will it be solo? Will it be interviews? Will it be co hosted? Will it be mixed? I can tell you that I've done all three. And so, and each one I can tell you that it's going to require a different type of approach. And it may draw a different type of audience. Okay. And so you want to consider what you're most comfortable with, and what will best serve your audience because they may want to listen to you perhaps in commuting. So that would require audio podcast. Or if let's just say your podcast is to serve someone that's commuting, that they are listening to you, and your podcast is in an educational space, then you might want to consider those things when you are trying to determine the niche and the audience. For instance, you might decide on a weekly solo episode where you share actionable tips and strategies combined with monthly interviews with industry experts, right? So that's definitely something to consider. Step three, plan your initial content. And I can tell you for me that has been something that I have struggled with in the past, but not to worry. Don't worry about planning every single episode right now. And I can tell you for me that might have been um one of the things that I kind of struggled with because I wanted everything planned out, right? What is let me know, let me figure out what are the next 15 episodes, right? But I will say this in talking with my clients, I do help them to brainstorm their first 5 to 10 episode topics. So just focus on the first 5 to 10 topics that directly address your ideal listeners' pain, their pain points and desires. And so, what you want to do is just create a simple outline for your first episode. This doesn't have to be a full script, just something that's guided that can help you just stay on track. If you're like me, I will go down rabbit trails. I will stay stuck on a certain thing for a long time when it's not even necessary. And again, just go down, rabbit trails. So, you want to make sure that what you're doing is creating something to just help guide you and to keep you on track. So if you're a health coach and your first few episodes might be like 3 simple habits for a healthier morning, debunking common diet myths, how to overcome sugar cravings. Those are 3 examples of perhaps 3 episodes if you were in that space that you can create, right? So let's move on to step 4, choosing a podcast name, and creating cover art. So, in working with my clients, I can tell you that a lot of them do get stuck in this area. And so, I can tell you also that I have tweaked my podcast name several times. And so, what I will say as a remedy for that is to not overthink it. Okay. Your podcast name and the cover art. That's your first impression, but please don't overthink it. Just choose a name that's clear, memorable, and relevant to your niche. Clear, relevant, and memorable. Don't overthink it. And then what you want to do is just design a simple podcast cover art that represents your brand. You can use Canva or any other free online design tool. Now, if you are, like some of my clients do, overthink it, if you want to hire a graphic designer and communicate what you're looking for, the essence of your podcast, and maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to hire someone, maybe on Fiverr, or maybe you have a graphic designer that can actually do this for you. Then definitely do that. But instead of coaching podcast, and we're talking about the name now, you might start with maybe the confidence coach podcast. That's simple. Or the mindset mastery show. Simple. Okay. Don't overthink it. Just start. Just start. Because the biggest hurdle for many people in this space, whether it's coaching or consulting or service based entrepreneur, is to set a launch date because you want it to be perfect. But I encourage you to set a launch date and hold yourself accountable. A few of my clients really have struggled in that area. And so I tell them, look, let's just start a launch date, even if it's a month out or 2 months out. Set a date. Make sure that you are putting something out there um, on your social media, whatever platform you're using to talk to your audience. Set a date and hold yourself accountable. Because once you put that out there, you probably don't want to backtrack too much, right? And so set a date and just reverse engineer the steps and hold yourself accountable. That's what I would say. I believe that it's okay to learn as you go. I've had to do that, and I still do that to this day. I learn things as I go. And even when I look back at some of my episodes back from 2013, they're definitely not perfect. Even this one is not perfect. But that's okay. It's never going to be perfect. But getting it out there is getting it out there, even if it's imperfect, is it's okay to do that. I was really nervous. I didn't do a whole lot of things right. The audio was pretty good, but that was about it because I can tell you that I was in love more with the bells and whistles than I was with creating good content because I hadn't done the things that I'm sharing with you. But I did it, and I've learned so much from that experience. So don't let perfectionism hold you back because it will. Okay. So just to recap, the first steps to starting a podcast for your business are: define your why and who. Number two, choose your niche and format. Number three, plan your initial content. Choose a podcast name and create the cover art. But most importantly, just start. And I know it can seem overwhelming at first, but I promise you it's worth it. Podcasting can be a very powerful tool for your business, your service-based business, your coaching business, your consulting business. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope this uh, is instrumental in you not overthinking the whole process and to be overwhelmed. But if you found this to be very helpful to you, make sure you subscribe for more podcasting tips and business strategies and things that I will be sharing more of on this platform. And if you're ready to take your journey, if you're ready to just take that journey into the podcasting space, and you're ready to take that next step to the next level, then check out the link that will be in the show notes and in the description where you will, there'll be several resources. There'll be a checklist and other resources for you to download. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on the Organizedpreneur Podcast Launchpad. This is Aldreama signing off. Have a great day.